Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Stroke of Genius Podcast Executive Experience. I'm your host, Aaron Avila. Today's show, and Daniel, you're going to meet Daniel Huberry. And he literally just popped on. He was having some technical issues, and literally just popped on minutes ago. And so we're going for it. We're dedicated. We are here to serve you people. But I wanted to tell you a little bit about him first. So you're about to meet Daniel Huberry. First of all, I want to speak more from my heart. Daniel is amazing. He is. He's one of those people within the Hazelite C-suite network that stands out to me. And I think because he's gifted probably more than he knows he is. But he's pretty amazing. And I'm gonna get he also has a trademark, and I have a trademark of this cowboy hat, but he has a trademark addresses in period dress, meaning he wears a top hat, coat. I'm going to find out a little bit more about that. But let me get right into it. Daniel Dark is the author of the Knife Tale. He's a business owner, and my favorite, he's a chef and a food historian. So hopefully I will personally be able to go visit him in Tennessee and maybe get some pretty awesome cooking done. But Daniel was an electrician. He's now building gentleman's cigar business. It is where he's taken this Charlie, the bus. It was a trolley. I made it, restored it, refurbished it. Now does venues based as a mobile cigar shop, high end. So I'm not sure what we'll talk about that with them too, finding what the pandemic has done to him. This pandemic is basically, I'm sure, really made gentleman cigar trade challenging, quite challenging. And Daniel also writes that these old, I'm pretty sure he's talking about riding a bike. He's not talking about his Harley. He's talking about his you remember those little bikes? Has a little tiny wheel in the back and ginormous wheel on the front. There's a name for him, and I can pronounce it. So we'll get Daniel to pronounce it for us. And if that's true, if that's a bike I think is talking about riding, I would not want to fall off on one of those. I'll tell you that. You're not going to get the strokes if I ever do it. Ruby is here on the West Coast. This is a rumor from my people on the streets that Daniel is the most photographed celebrity in Tennessee. That's out of my hearing on the West Coast, here with my people. But let's bring on Daniel, but let's jump right into it because I'm really excited for you to get to know him. So let's get right into it.
The Stroke of Genius podcast, hosted by brain aneurysm and stroke survivor Aaron Avila, sharing the experiences of survivors and CEOs. This is your destination for inspiration.
Well, good morning, Daniel Huberry. Thank you for being here all the way from Tennessee, bro.
How you doing this morning, Aaron?
I'm doing pretty good. Definitely doing pretty good. I'm doing better now that we're finally doing a show together. I forgot to tell people you're also a stroke survivor.
Yes. Stroke, heart attack, 2 stents, over 40 units of blood transfusion in my body, and just a few minor things, but still rocking and rolling.
Bro, somebody should have told you this is not a survival competition. You probably survive probably the most things I've heard of someone surviving.
Well, I've actually died once before, so that's as far down as I went. But
Wait a minute. You just said you died once before?
Yeah.
Tell me about that. I'm not. I gotta know. This is not what the show is about, but I gotta know if you're gonna make the bold statement. I died before. Tell me about it,
Yeah.
bro.
Back when I was young and stuff, I had a compound fracture gangrene sitting next to the bone, and I wound up having my fever went up to about 107. I went into shock
Oh,
and died on the operating table under emergency surgery, and they brought me back.
oh my God. Unbelievable. As if a stroke was done enough. Yeah, but I was reading all you've accomplished in your life, and I think you're one. You may be. Uh, that's pretty impressive. Now, you wrote. Rewrote the photograph part about you being a celebrity, because you said you probably the most photographed non-celebrity, but I'm saying if you're being photographed that much, you're probably more of a celebrity than you think.
Well, I consider the celebrities that are around Nashville and everything is all your country music stars and all them that everybody knows who they are. I'm somebody that nobody knows who I am, but they want to take a picture with me or of me or different things like that. So, yeah. And, you know, I look at it where my personal job every day is to make one person smile. If I can make one person smile, I have done my job for that day. Now, whether it's, with a cigar and stuff and the experience at the trolley, or whether it's out, when I'm sitting there having dinner and everything, and somebody sitting there pointing at me from across the room, like, see that guy over there?
Well, you've
Yeah,
already accomplished your mission. You made me smile, bro. I'd love to see you. So great. Thank you for being here. But
yeah.
you're also where I gather two things. The bike you talk about riding. I think pretty sure I saw it there, but I couldn't pronounce his name. What is that bicycle?
The technical term for it is a velocipede,
Yeah. That's that.
and it's also known. It's widely known as a penny farthing. Um, After the penny and the farthing coins from Britain, the penny coin being a large coin and the farthing coin being a small one when you put them side by side and everything.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Um, and what a lot of people you know scares them about that my bike is it has no brakes. It has you're about 5 feet up off the ground when you're sitting up there, and you the tires are totally slick. They're actually solid pieces of rubber with a steel band that runs through the center of them that holds the tires on to the wheels. So any type of slick conditions and everything, it can come out from underneath you, going around a turn or something like that. But you know, it's a fun thing to ride. I'd wanted one since I was a kid. With the old bicycle playing cards, a Joker years ago used to ride a penny farthing on the back of it. Always wanted one, always wanted one, never did get one. So when I got divorced from my first wife, I didn't have anybody tell me I couldn't buy one. So that was my middle age crisis right there. I started, and I went hunted one down and bought it, and it actually came from out there in your part of the country.
Really?
It came from California.
All right.
There's a company out there that still makes those type of bicycles. So it's called High Wheel.
Daniel, we have a friend of mine. He's I think in Ohio. He has a question for you. Here it is. How was the pandemic affected your gentleman cigar business?
It affected it, quite a bit because I was building my shop out and everything during the pandemic, and right before the pandemic hit, I was looking at renting a building. if I had signed the papers 2 weeks before,
Oh my God.
I would have been locked into a lease that I wouldn't have been able to open up the doors. And that would have shut me down before I ever got open by not being able to open up the doors and still paying lease for the property.
Well, thank God for that.
Yeah, and after that and everything, I had to readjust what I was doing. You hear the word pivot all the time now. I've gotten bored with the word pivot. I've gone back to I readjust. When you're in a war and everything, you flank on this side, that doesn't work. You readjust so you can flank on the other side. You move people around, move things around, move your ideas from one side of the brain to the other side. And how can I go from being a technical thinker into being a imaginative thinker? And that's what I did. I bought an old trolley that my great grandfather was one of the first ones with the Nashville Light and Rail, which was a trolley, the streetcar trolleys back in the day here in Nashville. And now I bought the trolley bus in commemorative of him and my family, and it just sort of represents what I wanted.
So will you tell me the trolley that you're in right now, the one you've been showing, has been your family?
No. This one I bought, but my great grandfather, he actually worked for the Nashville Light and Rail, which was a streetcar trolleys back in the late 1800s, early 1900s.
That is, can I say badass? My joke, so I say badass. That's pretty badass, bro. So in case you're tuning in late, Gentleman Cigars, a company that Daniel's building, that is basically a mobile cigar lounge. And he goes around to different menus, and we're hoping as we see this pandemic loosen its restrictions, he'll be able to do more venues. And I hope the best for Daniel. I really do. We got into that trolley business because that's something I was smoking cigars, and unfortunately I had to quit because I began to inhale too much. I got too addicted to it. I just got so addicted to it, I had to stop. But I do have some questions for you if I can. You're also venturing on this new project called Daniel Dark, and it's Out of the Darkness with Daniel Dark. Tell me about that project.
Okay, Out of the Darkness with Daniel Dark is everybody asks, successful people, well, how did you become successful? What did you do to become successful? Nobody asked, what was the dark sides of you becoming successful? What did you have to get over? What was in your life that, the setbacks, the, turmoil, different things like that. Each one of us has a darkness that we walk through, especially as entrepreneurs and as people of the world. You have different things that you walk through that you need to to get through. Some people, when something terrible happens to them, they dive deep down into that terrible thing and they never come back out of it. Others, they go into that terrible thing for a little while and then they figure out that is a temporary thing. I can change what the outcome was on that and become something else. And that's what Out of the Darkness is about. Those people that, so there went through, something like you going through your stroke and everything. You went into a darkness. I know you did because I've been through a stroke too. There's a lot of darkness there that you just, it's like, why did this happen to me? Blah, 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 you could sit in that, or you can come back out of it and say, okay, that was a challenge. Let's find out why I went through that challenge to go to my next step in life. And those are the reasons why we sit there and do the things that we do. If you have challenges that you face, that's what these stories are about. It's about people being able to see other people's challenges, seeing what type of darkness that they went through, and finding, that they don't have to sit there. They don't, if they're wanting to start a business, they don't worry about what, the family says about the business, or what, or what they did, or, that they're not good enough. Yes, you are good enough to do anything you want to do. It's just a matter of finding what you want to do and realizing that there will be challenges, but you can make a difference.
Oh man, bro, that is speaking my language. I can't wait to be on the show someday. But I have found, just as you have, life is about 10% of what happens to you, and about 90% of how you respond. And Out of the Dark, your show, is a weekly podcast, correct?
Right. First episode's going up today. My very first episode for the show,
right,
is going up today.
Right. It's a transition.
I put up a thing on there, just as a test earlier this week on YouTube, but today will be the first interview session that I'll have up there, and it's with a very special young lady that both of us know,
Charity,
by the name of Charity Burrow.
Yeah, love her.
Yeah. She's doing so much in where she lives at to make the community and everything better, that I wanted to spotlight her, for what she went through and where she's at now.
Okay, so you know, audience, what we'll do out there, I'll put the link in the YouTube video description, links to Daniel's show. And Daniel, how often, and tell me when you produce the podcast.
When do I produce one? I'll do one every week.
Okay, but don't do it now what day and time you upload it at this point, do you know?
Every Friday will be a new podcast going up.
All right. So
because a lot of people have to work during the week, so if they listen to it on Friday, that can get them started on their new journey that weekend.
All right. You talked about the transition. I want to focus on the darkness because, as you mentioned, I can relate to that. I was suicidal, and stroke's probably the most unimaginable darkness a person can go through, personally. But there is a transition, there is a decision, and it really, to me, is a decision. You have to decide, okay, I'm not going to stay in the darkness. I'm going to come out of the darkness and into light, and I'm going to see what I can do. And I'm going to be promoting that. Give me your show. I'm really excited to promote it for you.
Okay. Whenever you make that final decision that you want to, heal yourself, basically, some people, they have to have medical, psychiatric and different things like that, sociologists and stuff. That's the reason those people are in business, is to have people to talk to. We, on the other hand, we have each other. You've got stroke survivors that you can talk to, that, you've created a really nice place for somebody that, didn't die from it. And then you've also created the place where people, that did die from it, their family can have somebody to talk to, which I think is wonderful, Aaron. But that is where we, as people of the world, need to find what we can do to help other people and help ourselves at the same time.
Yeah,
because that's what Out of the Darkness is about.
Yeah, I really am looking forward to seeing more of it and seeing the podcast. But you and I are both members in Jeff Hazel's C-Suite Network. And I would say probably the most unusual thing is struck me unusual within here's some of the most forward thinking thought leaders of the world. You and I are right in the midst of them, rubbing elbows with them. But they put the people over profit.
Right.
That blows my mind, bro. People over profit.
Yeah, if you do enough if I do enough to make sure that Aaron succeeds, I will succeed too. There is a part of that is very true. Go back to one of the greatest books on success and everything, Think and Grow Rich, by Napoleon Hill. That, he tells you straight up, do what it takes to help other people get ahead, and you will get ahead. Synopsis of one of the things that he talks about. But that's the reason that Jeffrey's the person he is, and Trish, those two people right there showed me a different way of thinking about myself. As just like you, Aaron, you were a stroke survivor that didn't think that you were worthy of being anything more than a stroke survivor. And now look at what you're doing. Because of the people that you associate with.
I see you, Daniel. You're doing the same thing. You're doing the exact same thing. How did you? I'm curious. We're talking about your business now currently. You're sitting in your current business. I love the way it looked. I wish I lived nearby, coming out for a cigar with you, a shot of whiskey or something. But what gave you the creative idea to behind Judgment Cigar?
The creative idea is, like I was talking about a while ago, the fact that I had, I wanted to open up an Edwardian smoke shop with a shoe shine booth and different things like that in it. And, just the things that they had back in, late Victorian, early Edwardian period, where a person could come in and actually become, have the experience of that, gentleman that they had back then. Now, the great thing behind that is I didn't open up the shop. The one that I had pictured didn't get opened up, but it expanded to where now I give more of an experience to somebody by being able to sit in a old trolley style bus, have a cigar, have the comforts of home with air conditioning and different things like that in it, but bring their own bottle and everything. I pour them up a glass, or hand them a glass and they can pour it up, and have I still have the shoe shine booth in here. I still have have different things like that the leather chairs that people can sit in. I do not offer Wi-Fi or anything like that to the men that come, or men and women that come in here. And the reason that I don't is because I think people need to start talking again. people have quit talking. They've started plugging in instead of communicating to the person next to them and finding out things about them. And the great thing about a smoke shop is that it doesn't matter whether you're a multi-billionaire or whether you're a ditch digger. Either one of those can be sitting in here smoking a cigar, and the cigar is the actual common ground because both of them enjoy it. Both of them can sit there and have a good conversation, and they don't care at that point in time, how much money or fame or anything else that somebody else's has.
Yeah, I think
you don't get to drink with me, Aaron.
Yeah, I think the idea, thank you, bro. I think the idea, the creative brain idea you got is amazing. The challenge of this pandemic is only going to make you stronger. And I will do anything I can to promote what you do because I think it's ingenious, personally. I mean, I think it's to be a mobile, high-end smoke shop, be able to go to different venues. I can really see it taking up at the end of this pandemic. I mean, timing is everything, but even during hard times, bro, there's a reason for it, making you stronger, making you endure, making you refining your commitment. I believe there's a reason for everything. There are no mistake. So when we began this pandemic, I could see that really taking off.
Yeah, we are not as deep into the pandemic here as they are in different parts of the country, but there is still worries about the pandemic. Some people, still, they'll say, well, it's totally fake. It's this, that, and the other. Some people say, well, I've got to wear a mask because I've got this issue and stuff, and can't take a chance. And then some people blow it out of the air the other direction to where it's the worst thing that came along since bubonic plague. Just and that is not a correct exception to it too. You have all those that mingle together right here, and luckily they coexist pretty much.
We're coming to not gonna believe this. I do half an hour podcast, so we're getting down to the wire, we're getting down to the end of the show. But tell people how to get a hold of you, what your social media tweets and your email. Tell me.
On LinkedIn, you can get a hold of me under Daniel Dark. Under Instagram, you can find me at gentlemens_cigars. And that's MENS_cigars with an S. And my email is gentlemenscigars1@gmail.com.
Okay, do you have a Facebook page? Do you have a Facebook page?
I do not do Facebook. I don't do I do a little bit on Twitter, but not enough to be found there really. If you contact me on Twitter, I may or may not ever see it. So
okay, so
the best two are LinkedIn and Instagram to find me.
Well, give me your email one more time. If someone wants to email you, how do they email you?
If somebody wants to email me, it's gentlemenscigars1, the number 1, @gmail.com.
All right. So, and people can basically rent out or hire your trolley to come to the venue, correct? Their wedding, your clientele is limitless. Any venue you will pull up in a vintage trolley and give an experience.
Yeah. It's not any venue because there's certain places that don't allow me to bring cigars into the venues and stuff. But when it comes to weddings and different things like that, yeah, I haven't had any trouble with any of the venues because I'm offering a location for people to smoke their cigars and stuff in. Where like when I was trying to go to some of the festivals and stuff like that, different festivals will not allow me to come in because I sell tobacco products.
I see. Well, you again comes on the pivot. You're gonna pivot. Excuse me. You're gonna change your direction.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Daniel,
my direction had to change. My direction had to change in October when I had my last surgery and stuff. Where I basically have the trolley parked right now out at the house. I'm not taking it out on the road every day like I was. I do, I will take it out for events and everything, but I'm parked here at the house with my driveway. I widened it out and everything so people have parking area and stuff. And that way, but it slowed down my traffic a whole lot. But it's what I had to do at the time because of health reasons.
All right. Well, Daniel, we're close to close of the show, but I really want to have you back on talking about a little more about your clothing. I want to go a couple minutes over. What is it? Because we all have a trademark. I have my cowboy. A trademark. I gotta know, bro. The vintage clothing you're wearing. From what period is it?
I basically dress late Victorian, early Edwardian. Is the clothing that I chose. When I had my stroke, I got rid of one decision in the morning time. What my clothes were going to be. I went to all black French cuff shirts, black pants, black vests, black coats. So when I pull anything out of the closet, they all match. Doesn't matter why.
That's okay.
That's all I've got in my closet. You go in there, you pull out a shirt, pants, vest, and coat, it matches.
It's all black.
But it's all black. Somebody asked me one time, Sarah goes, "Is your closet sort of like Charlie Brown's except for in black?" I'm like, "Yeah, exactly. You got it." Just
well, I think.
But I started wearing it back years ago and everything. I've been dressing like this for 30 or 20 something years, but I mixed it up, with different things, white shirts, black shirts, other things. But when I was doing my electrical engineering, maintenance management, and everything, I wore French cuff shirts and stuff down into pits, and got grease on them and stuff like that. And I went to the black shirts because I didn't show up the grease.
That's pretty awesome, bro. You have something in common with Johnny Cash. You and Johnny Cash were both wear black, so good for you. But Daniel, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Thank you for being on the show.
I appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Daniel. Appreciate it.
Y'all have